Welcome back, fellow metalheads. Another edition of Fierce Metal. All right, so today I want to talk about one of my favorite genres of music, and I'm just going to jump right into this. So for me, being a big fan of Pantera back in the '90s and then later in the early 2000s, big Lamb of God fan I am to this day. There's just something about that infectious sound of those bands. So besides like Possessed and Death, I really wasn't listening to a whole lot of death metal. I wasn't a big death metal fan back then. I grew up as a teenager in the '80s, and thrash was always my go-to. I always liked that groove of that style over the devastating heaviness of the '90s and 2000s death metal. Fast forward into the early 2023, I found myself listening to a little bit more modern death metal, melodic death metal, and you all know that I like it furious. So if you've been following my channel for a while, most of you know that I love almost any kind of extreme music if it's got a great groove. Those bands, always seem to stay in that pocket, this head bob inducing, toe tapping, fist pumping, groovy goodness known as groove metal. Now, I'm going to share with you a band that I think has all those addictive elements, does it better than most, and I believe is the future of the genre. I'm talking about LOKUST. That's right. Formed back in 2017 in London, England. Now, in 2019, they released a single, oddly enough, without vocals called Guiltless. So I'm not really sure when the five-piece lineup was formed after that, but on July 28th, 2023, they released their debut album, Infidel. Not only produced by the band itself, but independently released as well. This is 11 tracks and 51 minutes of some of the best groove metal ever written. And for me, being an old school Lamb of God fan, that's saying a lot. So let's dive into this amazing album. This album starts off with this 38-second intro called March. It sounds like the wind blowing with this ear guitar feedback that just fades in louder and louder, leaving the listener filled with anticipation. Kicks off right away with this catchy as hell, crunchy riff, pummeling drums, and this hellish scream that just gets your attention immediately. Infectious grooves waste no time getting your head bobbing and your fist pumping. So the general theme of this album deals with internal struggle that I think, honestly, we all experience from time to time. Now, the vocalist, Alex DaCosta's voice is a perfect fit for this band. They're harsh, they're in your face, and they're very emotional. And you can tell that every word spoken has a lot of meaning behind them. The thing that I love most about this album is how they toy with thrash metal and death metal elements. They incorporate great guitar harmonies along with these crunchy as hell guitar riffs and thunderous drums. If I was built for violence, then why the fuck would I atone? My gods are dead! Eternally cursed in my bones. Every song on here has its own personality without everything sounding the same. The use of melody mixed with these constant pace changes really keep the listener engaged. Then you have, about halfway through this album, this 2-minute and 3-second interlude called Futile, with these haunting guitar and some spoken words, almost like a palate cleanser of sorts. Then the pace really picks up with this full-on rager. So this album takes a little turn toward the end with this 7-minute and 37-second track called Gin. You have this great melodic guitar, touch of atmosphere, and then you have these really emotional vocals with this hard driving drum beat. It just moves everything forward as it tells this epic story. This album ends as strong as it begins, and it's a must listen as a whole piece of work. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one. LOKUST, Infidel, what an amazing album. I support these bands that I talk about as much as I possibly can. You probably can't see it back of the wall right there. I also have the CD. I sent over to London, England to get the shirt, the CD combo. It took me about 6 weeks to get my stuff. It was totally worth the wait. Honestly, one of my favorite bands and albums that I've heard in a long time from that style of music. Now, I will have the link in the description below for their Bandcamp page so you guys can support this amazing band. They're still independently released. I'm not really sure why they're not signed. Maybe they don't want to be, really not sure. But it's a great album from beginning to end. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. You guys know how much I appreciate your support. If you're new here, I do these videos every Friday. Hit the thumbs up, really helps my channel. Right now, I am working on, hopefully, what's going to be a Best of March Part 1. So stay tuned for that. So until next time, keep it furious.